Long story short, I've been covering my sister's rent and childcare costs for the last 2 years. Since she claimed she was going back to school, I recently learned she's not returned to school, so I cut her off. Our mother's angry since this runs the risk of having my toddler niece out on the streets. I told my mom that it wasn't my problem at this point. My sister lied, and she didn't follow through on her end of the deal. My phone has been blown up by my family calling me heartless. Am I really in the wrong? Was I being overly harsh and unsympathetic towards my sister? I've paid over $42,000 for rent alone, and probably around $19,000 for childcare. The original agreement was that she would take classes to finish up her nursing degree since she had put it on the back burner when she got pregnant by her deadbeat boyfriend, who's out of the picture. Thankfully, she, at the very least, has been working part-time in a nursing home. Our mom lives in a rent-controlled apartment that is a one-bedroom and part of a 55-plus community. Mom could not afford to pay sister's rent. She's on a fixed income. I was doing so because I wanted to give her a fair shot. No one else will step up, but I've blocked all their numbers on my phone and WhatsApp. Some of me feels bad, but I cannot keep swooping in to save the day. Am I the idiot for not covering my sister and forcing her and my niece to become homeless? Not the idiot. If your family's bothered, I suggest they cover her rent and childcare. You can't set yourself on fire to keep someone warm, especially because she lied for 2 years. Also, the only person responsible for your niece is your sister. Agreed. She's responsible for getting child support from her ex-boyfriend. I hate that the successful person who did things right in the family is expected to cover the deadbeat's butt. I see this so much. $61,000 is a ton to blow on someone else's mess, even family. The sister should feel like a loser whenever they accept the money. If they don't, then they're entitled as heck and are playing the victim. She was mooching for 2 years, and this family is telling OP that they're the villain? Child, please. I can't believe they aren't extremely grateful for the 2 years of support. Do something nice, and you're obligated for life. Think of the amount of assistance you've provided. Public assistance ends eventually. Has she applied for it too? Or is it just easier for her to sponge forever? Oh no. Now sister might have to get horrors, a job, and support herself and her child without sponging off you. What has she been doing for the last 2 years? Since you said you've been covering for childcare, there's part of the day that she's free. Has she been working? Has she been binging Netflix? What has she been doing? Jesus, she scammed you for 2 years. If your mom is upset, she can pay the funds or take your niece in. Tell her, I paid for 2 years. It's your turn. And to every person who texts you, reply with, here's sister's Venmo. You're free to send her as much as you'd like to help her out. People who lie about educational funds are scum. Too many folks struggle to get that opportunity, and she squandered it. My husband, 67, and I, 67 female, have 3 kids and 7 grandkids. Our youngest son, Merlin, 34, has 2 kids with his wife. They're twins, young teens, 1 boy, Towns, and 1 girl, Emmeline. We see all of our grandkids and kids often and love them very much. Towns is our sporty one. He plays baseball and loves it. He's also the sensitive grandchild. He's not afraid to cry if he's sad. Emmeline's our artist. She's always painting, drawing, or knitting. As you may be able to tell, we love to support our grandkids' passions and interests in any way possible. Every year, Christmas breakfast is done at our house. My husband and I love having everyone come over. The grandkids all get gifts at their houses and then come over here. We eat and then they open gifts from us. We also get gifts for our kids and their spouses. On Sunday, we had our kids and grandkids over to help decorate for Christmas. After some decorating, we took a break to make dinner. When dinner was ready, Merlin and his wife were joking about how their kids might be on a naughty list after they got in trouble at school. We asked what happened. Towns got in trouble for selling snacks. Towns has a friend whom he met on vacation a few months ago, a boy from Panama. They both love baseball and will send each other gifts or souvenirs and snacks from each kid's country. Towns said that he sold some of the snacks this boy sent him with the boy's permission, which was against school rules. He got 2 days of detention and said what was worse was his coach telling him he's disappointed in him since he's usually a good kid. Then we asked what Emmeline had done, and she didn't answer because she said she was being unfairly bullied for it. Towns then started to look like he was going to hold back tears. We asked him if he needed to talk to someone, and he asked to talk to me. He said that Emmeline had said some racist things to a Hispanic boy, making jokes about his culture and heritage, and how she got suspended for 3 days, and that she was getting some pushback, but he thought it was justified pushback. I then asked my husband to speak to me, and after talking, we asked Merlin to talk to us. We told Merlin we were concerned about Emmeline's behavior, and he said that both kids got in trouble, so we should also be concerned about Towns. We told him it wasn't the same, and also told him he needed to address Towns' feelings about this. He dismissed us. We then told him that if he didn't take these actions, he and Emmeline wouldn't be getting Christmas gifts. He then talked to his wife, and I could see her getting uncomfortable. When they got home, he called me to say I was acting immature and overstepping my bounds. He said that he's the parent, that he and his wife get to call the shots in his house, and that we were being petty. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. Why does it seem like everything revolves around Towns for you? Why should your son address Towns' feelings in regard to Emmeline's punishment? Surely she deserves punishment, but that shouldn't be dictated at all by her brother. First, I think you're unfairly interfering in your son's parenting. If you want to have a frank conversation with Emmeline, then that seems reasonable, but setting ultimatums with your adult son is ridiculous. Second, I think you have favorites here. Emmeline's her own person and should be treated as such. She's not an extension of Towns' feelings. She's her own person. I wouldn't be surprised if that's why your son pushed back. I think it's totally appropriate to be disappointed in your granddaughter for saying awful things, and as a grandparent, you should talk to her about it. But you are the idiot for using Christmas as a tool for punishment. Christmas and birthdays should stand alone. P.S. I'm curious how a kid gets 2 days of detention for selling snacks. That's crazy. Both kids received punishment from school authorities for breaking school policies. Emmeline received 3 days, 1 day more than your grandson. While it's positive your grandson talks to you about his concerns, the answer isn't for you to insert yourself, act like a superior court arbiter, and demand greater punishment, or you'll withhold Christmas gifts. So manipulative. Shame on you. My wife, 38, and I, 40, have been married 9 years. We have a preteen son together, and she has a teen daughter, Jenna, from a previous relationship. And I have an 18-year-old daughter, Dawn, and a young teen daughter from my ex-wife. Dawn still lives at home, finishing up her senior year this year. She's been my easy one. She earned money since she was 10, babysitting and cleaning, and working since she was 14. She's been at her current job for the last 2 years, saving up money and doing nails on the side. She's also in all honors this year, with an A average so far. So my ex-wife and I decided it was okay for me to give her my brother's car he was selling. I got a great deal for it. We felt she really deserved it. When I told my wife this, she got upset because my stepdaughter just got her license a few weeks ago. Jenna doesn't have a job and can't pay for car insurance, nor has she been on the road that long. I told my wife this, and she said that Jenna would feel like I'm favoring Dawn, and that she honestly doesn't blame her because that's what it looks like. I told her that wasn't it, and that Jenna could borrow our car. But I felt Dawn really earned it this year, and she's 18 and has 3 years of driving experience. She argued that Jenna deserves it as well. And I said, well, Jenna does get good grades. She still wouldn't be able to pay insurance and doesn't have the driving experience. My wife then got angry and said she should have been included in this decision, not my ex-wife, since Dawn lives with us, and how it was being unfair. She made herself a strong drink, went into the living room, and told me I caused her to do that. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your 18-year-old has earned a car. In 3 years, if the teen earns one, then she should get the same budget for a car. she should not get a car now. However, if her father wants to buy her a car now, that's on him. The whole "you made me drink" is total BS. That needs to be addressed. That's a huge problem. Your wife is very manipulative. First, you didn't cause her to pour a strong drink. Second, your daughter can support a car, but the other daughter's not able to support a car. Third, your daughter's older. Fourth, your daughter has much more experience driving. Kids get different privileges at different ages. That's how life is. Did your wife chip in for your daughter's car? No? She's out of her mind for expecting you to even help with her desire to get her daughter a car. She can dip into her savings and pay for a little hoopty alone. It's pure manipulation by your current wife, who favors her daughter above any logical reasons. She's the type of person who wants all of you for her and her daughter, regardless of anything. My brother got divorced 11 years ago when his child was only a preschooler. I was my niece's nanny and I practically raised her. She's like a daughter to me. Recently, my niece has been asking us to buy a laptop for her because she needs one for school, so we figured that could be her gift. With my brother's permission, I bought a gaming laptop for her because I know she's a gamer, and I figured she'd like it. The problem is that my niece's mom called a few days ago and informed us that she bought a Chromebook for my niece since she's been asking for a laptop. I informed her that I bought a laptop for my niece. She told me to return the laptop. I told her that this was ridiculous and that she should be the one returning the Chromebook. She got mad and said that she's the mom and decides what her daughter should have, and asked me to butt out of her parenting and just return the laptop. I told her that I was not returning the laptop, so she had a choice now. She could either return the Chromebook and buy another gift, or watch her daughter's disappointment when she opened her gift and realized how petty and cheap her mom was. She called me an idiot. You are the idiot. I could see not wanting to return it because maybe you saved up, or it's non-returnable, or you already hinted to your niece about it. But from your story, it sounds like it's more about the mother than your niece. You want to give your niece a better laptop. Calling the mom cheap and petty shows you're really the petty one here. If this was actually about your niece and not about you buying a better present than her mom, why not suggest you all chip in together and get your niece an amazing, top-of-the-line laptop? I mean, if it isn't all about you and actually about your niece. She bought the laptop before the mother did. She thought about the gift, and the brother said it was okay before the mom even purchased one. How is OP the idiot then? She isn't. Mom just doesn't want to be upstaged for buying a cheap Chromebook. Everyone's like, but what's best for the mom? Like, who cares? I'm going to think about what's best for the kid. Not the idiot. Clearly, the laptop you bought would be a better gift than a Chromebook. If we focus on the child here instead of the adult egos, the best answer would be for her to have the laptop and the Chromebook returned for another thoughtful gift. Sure, this seems to favor OP, but the alternative is a computer that she doesn't game on and is definitely not as versatile and user-friendly. I disagree. I think a ton of parents would explicitly not want their kid to have a gaming laptop and only a crappy laptop for school. That seems completely reasonable to me. At the very least, it should be a discussion between the parents, not an aunt saying, well, darn the mom, I know better. OP, you're trying to drive a wedge between a mother and a daughter. She's clearly not as well off as you and did her best to fulfill her daughter's wish within the financial means available to her. You've created a situation where the daughter knows you got a laptop and there's no situation out. The mother can't pay you half, and you're uncompromising. You're a crappy aunt and a worse person. Update. After thinking about your comments, I finally decided what I'm going to do. I decided I don't care about how my brother's ex feels. How my niece feels is what matters to me. So I won't return the gaming laptop. I will also block my brother's ex so she can't bother me anymore. My brother also agrees with my decision. My former stepmother my late father's widow, is terminally ill. I have not seen her since his death 7 years ago. I kept minimal contact with my half-siblings, teens, through her, but not closely. My relationships with them were complicated, and I didn't care for the woman. My former stepmother's brother contacted me and told me she needs someone to take care of her now, and it should not fall on my half-siblings and cannot fall on him as he lives in another state. Her condition is terminal, and they believe she has less than a year left. Her brother told me that I should take responsibility for helping to care for her, given that she was my stepmother for many years of my life, and she's the mother to the 2 kids that I should be willing to take in once she's passed. He told me refusing to care for their mother was going to end my relationship with them permanently. For those wondering about the background, my mom and my former stepmother were very close friends, and before my mom's death, my former stepmother and father betrayed her by carrying out an affair. I overheard the fight when my mom found out the truth. Once my mom had passed, my former stepmother decided to create a massive scene at my mom's funeral. She insulted my mom's parents and insulted her sisters after they said my former stepmother had no place at the funeral. She tried to say that she would always have a place as my future stepmother and my mom's closest friend. I called her names that day. She told me I would regret it one day. That day has never come, but she did revel in telling me all my mom's flaws after she and my dad married. I never saw Dad the same way either, but he refused to let the relationship go completely and did his best to maintain contact once I left his house. He died when I was 20. I told stepmom's brother I would not care for his sister, and I made it very clear to him that I was not going to make her end of life any easier than she made my mom's. My half-siblings called me and told me that their mom was asking for me, and they were scared and wanted me to be there at the end. They said she needed someone to help her, and they can only do so much with school, that they hate leaving her alone. I told them I was sorry, and I knew what it was like to watch your mom slowly fade, but that I was not the one to do it. My half-brother asked if I didn't love her at all after all this time. I said no. He told me to stay away from her then, and from them as well. My father's sister heard about all that happened, and she told me that I should be more mature than that and more loving and compassionate to my half-siblings. She told me I should love them more than I hate their mom and agree to care for her to make their next year much less stressful. When I refused, she called me cruel and selfish, and she said that I was behaving like the very person I hated the most. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. This is not a closely related person to you. She has a close family, which is trying to shift responsibility to you. That's strange and unethical on their part. Also, did they contact you just because they needed help? LOL? It looks like he's the kind of person who starts the contact when he needs help. So basically, he's looking for a mule to do the work for him. I think you shouldn't worry about that. I'd say your conscience is clean. He told me refusing to care for their mother is going to end my relationship with them permanently. Nice try on the emotional blackmail. If only the threat would work. So idiocy runs in the family? That's another reason to stay away from these people. She told me I would regret it one day. No, she's regretting it right now, I would guess. Let your stepmom's family take care of her and take in the kids after her death. I'm fascinated by all these people who are so eager to tell you that this is your responsibility and yours alone. Not to mention, you're still pretty young if I've calculated it correctly. You're not a blood relative, and to even think to direct criticism at you just opens up such a floodgate of crushing responses. I'm surprised anyone was dumb enough to try. I'd run with, I suggest you continue your search for someone to offload your responsibilities to elsewhere.